Hi, my name is Myra Tanksley, and I am recording this on December the 6th, 2016. And I am the proud single parent of a young 23-year-old son, a wonderful young man that has autism. He has been the victim of guardian and government abuse by the state of Ohio. An attorney by the name of Aaron Sanford, probate court of Franklin County, Ohio, which is in the Columbus area. Franklin County Board of DD, Ohio Department um, of DD, Developmental Disabilities, um, the Attorney General's Office of the State of Ohio, Mike DeWine, John Kasich, because they have been exploiting him for federal funds, and in the process, he has just suffered tremendous ongoing abuse, neglect, in every kind of way. Um, he was at a ICF-MR facility, that stands for Intermediate Care Facility, MR, mental retardation, and it is a developmental center. They call them developmental centers that are operated by the Ohio Department of Developmental Disabilities Department or agency, and um, they're ICFMR facilities, but they call them, like Columbus has one, the one that my son was in. I think Toledo has one. There's several around the state, and my son is now out in the community in a rundown townhome that's also operated by the state of Ohio, and is staffed by abusive staff. And I can say that because I actually have heard my son being verbally abused, physically abused, and probably assaulted after they grabbed the phone and hung up the phone. And I do have a YouTube channel that's full of audio videos. There's never any video on them, it's just audio tapes. I do have a videotape of my son after. It's just so much. They won't let me see him. I mean, he's being treated worse than an inmate. I said, at least these inmates get to have visitors from their family. And my son's not a criminal. He's autistic. He's high functioning, but he's autistic. And I'm not a criminal either. But they have not allowed me to visit with him since March 15, 2015. The last time I actually seen him with my own eyes was July the 8th, 2015, after he came outside on his way to an appointment, which is counseling, which was initiated by the U.S. Department of Education after I filed a complaint against the school district for not knowing how to work with autistic students and throwing him in a seclusion closet. But um, he's being treated a lot worse now than when he was even at school. But he's been, assaulted by both staff and residents. Just give me your background. And, just basic human rights, he now has to go, he has no quality of life because my son likes to do a lot of things, and as his mother, I know he likes to listen to music, watch music, play sports, watch sports. He's got hobbies, he's got games he likes, things he likes to play with. And of course, me, he misses me terribly because my son loves me, and so he doesn't have a quality of life. He's not doing none of these things. And we have some very sick, evil, people in our lives that are lawyers, court agents like judges, magistrates, court investigators, and they practice injustice, just like the Bible says. The Bible is full of injustice because God hates injustice. And when God talks about justice, He's talking about people that are employed and work in the legal system. And that is not people out on the street that practices injustice. It's this human scum that are in these court or in the legal system. And so God says it exists. He says these people exist. And unfortunately, me and my son has a bunch of that garbage in our lives. He has a very evil, sick, unfit, greedy attorney because she's getting his SSI check, but she allows and turns her head while other people abuse and neglect him. I mean, she's even exploiting him and abusing him herself for the money that she gets for him. But her name is Erin Sanford in Groveport, Ohio. She's part of the uh, trash burn law, well, mash burn, but I call them trash burn law offices. I said, because you got to be a sick person, evil and unfit, and she's a liar too, because she done lied on me something terribly. But I'm an evidence girl, so I got her on tape professing and confessing to being unfit because she said that she cannot handle mental health caseloads. Got her on tape from her own mouth, and then I got her on uh, not her on tape, but things that she had lied on me about. I got it on tape that actually shows she's a liar, that completely uh, rebuts everything that she has said. She lied on me about a grant outpatient appointment. She lied on me about or having my son call me on Easter, and he never did call me. Matter of fact, I didn't even receive any phone calls. That was last year. And I proved that by showing my phone records. She lied on me about trying to get me or try to say that I actually stopped the supervised visits because she had actually signed up for us to. Like I said, it's just so much stuff. You just have to go to my pages and I'll talk about them too. But she actually had contacted a supervised visit agency. Now, me and my son, we're not a dysfunctional family. I haven't abused him or neglected him or anything like that. Nobody could prove that. But she was trying to get us to the visit there so that they could send back reports. And it was supposed to be supervised. I'm going like, huh? But I did go because I wanted to see my son. I went March the 15th, 2015. And I seen him, and we were supposed to do it every week, even though I didn't agree with it. But God shut it down because they didn't bring him that following week on March the 22nd, night, 2015. And uh, when I had the woman that worked there call to see if my son was coming, if the staff was going to bring him, something must have happened. And she told me, she said, well, this ain't the place for y'all to visit. I said, you're right. It's not. I said, you just make sure you tell them that. And so they did, but they had also told me that day. But Sanford told the court, and she's telling everybody that I refused to go. Now, if I didn't want to visit there, which I didn't think it was appropriate, if I didn't want to go, I would have never went March the 15th and March the 22nd, 2015. So she just, I said, of all the profession, ain't nothing worse than an evil, sick, lying attorney. I said, any attorney that does that needs to be disbarred, period, because of um, the type of profession it is. Now, if you can't tell the truth, you don't need to be no lawyer. You not to me, it's just how can you try to fight for the law or say you uphold the law or something like that, and you lie on people. Now that's just I said of all the professions to be a liar, for a lawyer to lie on somebody. But I proved that she lied on me. That's why I made the audio video. And then when she lied on me about the um, outpatient appointment and stuff, and said I created disturbance, they had to walk me out of there. Where the security guard came up there and told me I had to leave because I wasn't my son's guardian. It wasn't creating a disturbance like she told the court, and it was in the court records and stuff. But they lie on Marquis too. He's supposed to be some type of monster. No, he's a typical autistic individual that have meltdowns. But they always say that I exfoliate him. But that's because I'm a black mother. If I was a white mother or one of these white parents, their kids have meltdowns at home, at school, everywhere. Some have to wear helmets. Some of them are very physically aggressive, and they don't blame them for their behaviors, but I was blamed for that. I said, but when my son is telling me to take him home, he's not talking about me. He's talking about how y'all done treat him, the environment y'all have put him in. Because he has never said, Mom, get out of here, I hate you and stuff. But he has told me, and he's not quiet about it. He's pretty upset about it. But it's because of the way they've been treating him. They have had him in such a bad way and in such I mean, sensory overload and stuff. By the time I would get there to visit him, he's said, Mom, take me home. I want to go home and stuff. And he has a right to vent to his mother. And I said, well, he's not venting about me. He's venting to me about all the hell that y'all have put him through. Because you don't know how to work with autistic people. I have yet to see anybody do it. There's a lot of people, they don't know how to work with them. They don't remember that you can't approach them a certain way, that autistic people have a lot of sensory problems. They just don't know how to work with them. You know, how the environment is, the lighting, how they approach them, their personal space. You know, because regular, normal people, and I'm not saying my son is abnormal because they have autism, but somebody that doesn't have autism, I don't want you all in my face, in my personal space. You can imagine how it is with somebody that has sensory deficits. So, somebody that doesn't have sensory deficits wouldn't want you to be all in their personal space. You can imagine how somebody that's very sensory sensitive would feel if you all in their face and stuff. But I have yet to see it. But these idiots didn't know anything about autism, but it was racism in there. That's it, because Marquis no different than a lot of autistic individuals, but they try to say he's a monster, but they'll lie on him. And that's why, getting to my pages, I have 3 pages on Facebook. The first one is the abuse and neglect of autistic Marquis Tanksley by the government. The second one is justice for autistic Marquis Tanksley. And the most recent one that I just started just a few weeks ago is called the Audio Tapes of Marquis Tanksley, his suffering, abuse, and neglect. And that's what this audio tape is going to be um, actually placed on. And what I'm doing, and like I said in the um, description of the page, I am just letting people hear my son's own words, how much he misses me and how he wants to come back home, and how he's describing them abusing him and neglecting him. And, of course, I could go in there and look at him and tell he was being abused and neglected. I mean, there's unexplained injuries that wasn't treated, scars, clothes that didn't belong to him, his hair all matted, full of dandruff, an ant on the back of his tongue. And then he would tell me about incidences and how the staff was uh, beating on him, and a resident named Matt was hitting him all in his face, and even called him the N word one time, and you know, all of that's on tape because I record my son, but I record them too. But um, I decided just to let people hear in his own words, my son's words, and no parent would want to hear that. You could see the abuse and neglect, but then to hear your child, because my son is high functioning, um, and him telling me, it just splits your heart in two. But I must say, and I'm ashamed that I hadn't said it earlier when I first started this. I am a Christian, so is my son. God's got this. God's got this. And when he's already got it and worked it out, he's already got a date for it to happen. He does not intend to let my son keep suffering like that. It's just a big testimony. But, God will, and we are Christians, and God will, straighten it out and show everybody, show his power in this thing. Because I already seen him punished and put out the light of an attorney that was on this case. But this man was very evil, thought he was indispensable, unstoppable, thought he was all powerful, thought he was a phenomenon. And I had the audio tape of his conversation with me, lied on me, um, didn't do anything for my son. bragged about abusing people in court. Just thought that he was unstoppable, and God put his light out. He died unexpectedly, probably within a year of that conversation with me. But anyway, getting back to my son, he does not have no quality of life, unless they think quality of life means him going to a dermatologist or to a doctor every Tuesday and Thursday to get light treatments. And they said, because I said his skin was just perfectly fine when he was at home living with mom. He didn't have no skin condition when he was a baby or a little boy, a school ager or preteen or a teenager. I said, y'all don't let his skin get so dirty because, this human rights abuses and neglect. They had him in dirty clothes and stuff because I used to take up clothes up there all the time when he was at the state facility. 95% of them, they stole them from him because they would put him, and I got pictures of all of that stuff. It's all on Facebook. And he would be wearing clothes that didn't belong to him. They would use clothes that the facility would give him. They were dirty, raggedy. They were ill-fitting, too big or too small, and take those brand new clothes that I have pictures of, and I had them sign in for it. And they stopped signing in for them, but I still had it written down. Just put they refused to sign in, but I had pictures of them of all these brand new sets of clothes. They take those and steal them because 95% of them, I never seen them on my son. But I could prove that I brought them up there because I took pictures of it, wrote it down. But he doesn't have no kind of quality of life. Because the only thing he does, he goes to the treatment, light treatment, every Tuesday and Thursday, and Wednesday he goes to the counseling. He doesn't work. He's not playing no sports. He doesn't get to see his family. I say even these inmates, even these death row inmates get to see their family. He has no family that could come and see him. I mean, that's all human rights, constitutional and civil rights violations. All three of them. And I said, my son ain't no inmate, but he lives in a rundown townhome that has a locked gate. I said, it's just like he's in prison. But he doesn't even, like I said, prisoners probably on death row have, unless they're, being for a ticket or something like that, something that they did wrong and stuff, and they take some of their privileges away. I said, they got more privileges than my son. But he doesn't have no kind of life. They don't hardly feed him the right kind of food. And they said the skin had got advanced form of psoriasis. And I said, that's a lie, because he ain't never had none of that stuff when he was at home, and we don't have it in our family. Then they says maybe they have, it could be because of the medication, because they got him on the highest dose of Thorazine, because he was supposed to have been off of that, because a ER doctor at Riverside took him off of it, and the state kept him on it, even though they didn't list it on the forced medication documentation in court. Because when they said we're going to get a forced medication documentation, the judge signed it, even though the two quacks that work for them, that's on their payroll, didn't even list what medications that they were going to force on him or push on him. Well, how in the world could a judge say, well, sign it, and you don't even know, for the best interest, you don't even know what medications they're planning to give him? That's on the Justice for Autistic Marquis Tanksley's page. But it's just so much. But they are making him to take, I think, 800 or 900 milligrams of Thorazine daily. He's got to take lithium, and he's got to take cogentin for the side effects. So they just increased his medication since he came out of the state facility. And they said that might be starting, or has, initiated this advanced form of psoriasis. Because I had just filed, in September, I filed a complaint against the corrupt, unfit, evil, limited guardian, Aaron Sanford. And of course, the court investigator, he goes along to get along. He's a coward. He's one of that, part of that human scum chain that the Bible talks about when they talk about justice. But they ain't talking about the average Joe on the street. They're talking about these people that work in these courts 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, scratching each other's back and practicing injustice. And that's why I tell people, and after this is all said and done, and the Lord puts me and my son where he needs to put me, I don't want to hear anybody tell me that, it's just like trying to tell me racism don't exists. I mean, Bible talks about racism, or it talks about prejudice. The book of James talks about it. How can you say you love God who you have not seen and hate your brother who you have seen? God says existed, that exists, that's enough for me. I don't want to hear nobody looking at me trying to say, oh no, it don't exist. And if God says exists, then that means there are people on this planet that does it. And the Bible is just full of God speaking through prophets and them, actually saying what God wants them to say to whoever, the masses. But a lot of that stuff speaks to us too. It wasn't just the people of that day and age that the prophets or God was speaking to through the prophets. But if God says it exists, it exists. And the Bible is full of injustice, prejudice, hatred, all that kind of stuff. And so, and with me being a Christian, that's enough for me. But we have racist, um, um, evil, sick people that practice injustice in our lives. They're in the roles and they have the activity from their jobs where either they're going to do the right thing ethically and legally, or they're not. So these people are very unjust. But God is a just God. He gonna right the wrongs, and you don't have to wait until you get sent to and bust hell wide open or Judgment Day. He'll right the wrongs in this life, especially for Christian people. People that because we're taught this to step back, hand it to God, and let Him handle it. He'll fight the battle, and He doesn't lose any battles. So we're victims. Them people are very unjust, and that's from probate court on down. As far as well, I want to say Mike DeWine because he's Ohio Attorney General. But then you got this sick, corrupt judge Robert Montgomery that even admitted that he has problems with probate court. He's the probate court judge of Franklin County, Ohio. You got court investigators. You got these lawyers on their payroll. Because they might be in private practice, but they also work for the system. They get paid for being a fraudian, because that's what I call them, But they're there for the money. And a lot of it's retaliation. Like, how dare you, black mother? Well, we're going to show you and stuff. But God is not happy with the way my son has suffered. He's got an end date for it. And I just hope that, they don't get spiked too hard by God. Because sometimes He'll just show His power and move them aside and say, this is time for this young man to come home. I'm in control of his life, not you. Sometimes He'll put punishment right along with that and stuff. But like I said, this one attorney, he put his light out and make sure and let me know that he did it. He maybe get the newspaper. I never get the newspaper. And he maybe get the newspaper that day and open that paper up and see that man's name in the obituaries right at the top of the list. And the Lord spoke to me, not way out loud, wasn't no thunder or nothing like that, but He let me know, vengeance is mine, will repay, and this is the reason why I made you get this newspaper. But when that man was talking to me, I knew God was going to punish him because it was something, and it wasn't from me, but I could tell God was very angry with him because God hates pride. That's another thing. Before the fall of a prideful person, you could really, really have a whole lot of pride. So you'll have a lot of pride before that fall. This man was very, very arrogant and thought he was untouchable. He thought he was all powerful, and he said he was another phenomenon, and how probate court loved him and appointed him, and he was their favorite son, one of their favorite sons. And he just said, I quote, I abuse people in court. I run over people in court. He didn't say abuse. He said I run over people in court. Means the same thing to me because I got a big mouth, unquote. And so he just thought that he was God, that he was all powerful, and God put his light out. He's no longer around to abuse people in court and stuff. So anyway, let me get to this. On this particular thing, you'll just hear Marquis say that he misses me, uh, that he's starting, to have like tears on his face or sadness coming down his face, but he was expressing his, that he misses me, which shows his love for me, that he wanted to come back home, and that he just didn't want to miss me anymore. And this was January the 28th, 2012. So I'm starting from, and this stuff still continues. I usually they usually let him talk to me, probably, I would just say mostly the weekends, because they don't want him talking to me when he goes out to medical appointments, because they know he'll come right back. It's fresh in his mind. He'll come right back and tell me about it. So I don't get to hear from him on Tuesday, Thursday, usually Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I have to wait Saturday or Sunday. And if he doesn't call me, it's not because he don't want to. They just don't allow him to call me, because he would be at home with me if he could. But I said, we leave that up to God. God can do what he needs to do to get you back home. Because I believe he wants my son back home, and he's already got the date set for it to happen. And these people better hope they're not in the way, and they better pray for God's mercy. Because you don't want God angry with you. If he give you angry, he might, go ahead and do some spanking of the booties. But this one is when he was at CDC, the state facility. It was a face-to-face visit, because I have tapes of my son on the phone speaking with me, and I have tapes of him in person doing a visit. So this is January 28th, 2012. Real short. You just hear him say um, that he misses me, and he wants to come back home, and that's it. But look for many more to come. I have many more tapes. I'm going to do them by date. And this one is actually on a micro cassette. I didn't start taping on my smartphone till I think January. I want to say until probably January or February 2013. But anyway, this is from January the 28th, 2012, and it's from a microcassette at CDC. Here we go. So there you have it. It's my son, because they always say that, like I said, one of the sickest thing is trying to make us a dysfunctional family. Like, you isolate your son, so your son hates you or something like that. I said, honey, he loves his mother, and his mother sure does love him. And so it tells you and shows you that my son has always had a strong, loving bond with his mother. Because he said, he misses me, and wants to come back home, and and he tells me that. He has always told me that, because that's the way he feels. But like I said, they lie on him too, you know. Because when they say that I escalate him, and like, he gets upset and all that kind of stuff when I'm around, they're lying on my son. That's what they're doing. So again, I will play this again because it's so short so that you can hear it. And So again, you can hear him, as he was saying, he felt like, tears are falling down his face, and I always let him express himself, express his feelings, and he said, he's missing you, and he said, I'm missing you, and I want to come back home, and I want to call you, and he's very, very, very close to his mother, and these idiots have tried to say just the opposite. I said, not only they're lying on me, they're lying on my son. But we just got pure filth. Her name is Erin Sanford. She's from the Mashburn Law Office in Groveport, Ohio. Um, Probate Court of Franklin County, Ohio. That scum has said my son has not been abused and neglected by nobody. Of course, they're all in denial. That's one of the worst things. Is for sick people to be in denial. That's why you got such a this country so racially sick. Nobody will admit it. No, we're not. Or they pass the ball on to the victims. But if you can't admit that you have a problem, because the truth sets you free. If you can't admit that you have a problem, you're never going to be able to solve that problem. But everybody's in denial, so they deny it. Sanford is one of the people that are abusing, neglecting, and exploiting, especially for that SSI check. She's in denial. Nobody will acknowledge and admit that he's being abused and neglected and exploited. But, I got pictures and tapes and documents that show that I'm not just full of hot air. And nobody can accuse me of slander. I could call this woman a liar to her face, and she could never accuse me of slander because I got evidence to prove that she lied on me and she lies on my son. And none of them really can ever accuse me of slander. But just go out and get on YouTube, check out the channel. I got probably about 50 audio videos and counting. Check out the 3 Facebook pages that I have. Go to Myra Tanksley, then you'll be able to link up to the 3 pages. This is going on audio tapes page. And, it's just so much stuff. But I'm not full of hot air. It's not just me and my son's imagination. When he's telling me all about the things that's going on with him, I know he ain't lying. Autistic people don't just sit up and make up lies. They have no motivation, cognitive motivation like that. And I'm sure not full of hot air. Because if I say it, you better believe there's some evidence that goes right along with it. That's just the way I do it. Because I don't sit up and say, I'm going to sit up and I got to think about something that I can slander them with. I don't sit up and make up sick, evil things on sick, evil people. You don't have to. Because they do sick, evil things. I just collect the evidence, and when I put it out there, I can prove that I'm telling the truth about them. So there you have it. I thank you for listening. I hope you and your family have a happy and merry Jesusmas. Hope you had a happy Thanksgiving. By the way, my son did not even get to talk to me or see me on Thanksgiving. The last time he see me on Thanksgiving was 2014, and that was only for 60 minutes at the state facilities. But since he's been out in this townhome, they don't want me to be over there seeing all the dirt and abuse and neglect. So they do not allow him to call me or see me on any of the holidays, even on his birthday and my birthday. So no, he has no quality of life. He doesn't get to spend time with his family. Like I said, he's treated worse than an inmate. I said, at least the inmates get to get visits. My son doesn't even get to have visits. So, but I know that I serve a just God, a powerful, loving, merciful God, and I know that he's going to do what he needs to do to make this thing right. It's already done. The date's already been set. So anyway, thank you for listening. Have a great night and have a happy new year. And I hope you have a wonderful Merry Jesusmas. Thanks again. Bye.